This is November 1 Delta, Uniform Charlie calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
You like that one? Is that the one you want, or you want that one? That one?
Kilo Echo 4 Lima Romeo Sierra. This is November 3 Alpha Radio Bravo.
Roger, 5-9 Georgia. Lighthouses on the air. This is November 1 Delta, Uniform Charlie, calling from Biloxi Lighthouse, US 0097 and standing by. Quebec Yankee Victor. Quebec Yankee Victor, I have you 5-9 booming signal into Biloxi Lighthouse, US 0097 QSL. Roger, US 0097. I believe you're also on a park. What's your park number? My lighthouse number is US 0097. What is your lighthouse number? Lighthouse number here is 0048, Fort Niagara State Park. You're in Niagara Falls or near Niagara Falls, over? We're north of Niagara Falls. We're in Niagara Lake, Ontario. Okay, roger. So I have you 5-9 near Ontario. That's really cool. I'm glad we can make the contact today. Thank you, Angela, 73.
Hey everybody, it's Junie, N1DUC, and Angela, N3ARB. We were able to make contact for the Lighthouse and Lightship weekend. It's the third weekend in August. I personally didn't plan to do this. It was kind of a last minute thing. I got out of work and I said, oh, hey, Angela, I'm going to go to a park, which was like 10 minutes away. And she said, well, we're at the lighthouse. And I said, you know what? There's a lighthouse in Biloxi. Why don't I drive down there? Sure enough, I went down there, was able to set up my radio, and well, we were able to make contact. That's the video that you just saw. We were able to make contact over, I don't know how many miles that was.
We'd have to figure that out.
Over 1,000 miles. It had to have been
probably,
over 1,000.
Probably.
The picture I show is basically if we were to fly, what is the straight line like over there? But yeah, it's a pretty long ways. And I mean, we both sounded like we were talking to each other on a phone.
It was a good, clear day, which is crazy with the way the bands have been lately. But
Yeah.
to that day, it worked great.
Yeah, and we've tried many times to make contact with one another. Usually it's on like 17 meters, sometimes on 20, but we have a pretty good line of connection, which is kind of cool. So while you were there at your now, which lighthouse were you at?
We were at Fort Niagara Lighthouse, at the old Fort Niagara in Youngstown, New York.
Okay, very cool. And once again, I was at the lighthouse in Biloxi, the Biloxi Lighthouse.
Mhm.
So you set up over there. You were with your club?
Yes, the Niagara Radio Club.
Okay, very cool. And interesting thing happened to you, right? You had this gentleman come up to you, and let's check out that video right now.
So, what brought you here today?
I'm a coach bus operator out of Chicago, Illinois, and I brought a group here to visit Fort Niagara. And as I was pulling in, I noticed your station set up, and I knew exactly what it was. As soon as I pulled in, I knew it was ham radio stuff. And the club and Matt here welcomed me with open arms, and your operators were just ecstatic to have another operator come in. So being from Nine Land, and my group went and toured Fort Niagara, which I have already done. I was able to
Can I get your full name and full?
My name is Kurt F. Rubin, KURTRUBIN. Call is Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Tango Oscar. Being able to do a POTA and lighthouses on the air was just great.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This gentleman that you basically met up with, he found you? He just found you there.
Yeah, he was just driving his bus of people, and like, I know what that is. I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah, so you were able to let him get on the air and he made a contact, which
He
we're
made
going to look at.
several.
Yeah, we're going to look at that here.
CQ, 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 Whiskey 2, Quebec Yankee Victor. I heard a Bravo station. Bravo station. K2 EOB. Roger, Roger on the 8077. We are K2054. K2054. Roger, Roger. Thank you for the call. Roger. 73.
So that's pretty cool. This is what amateur radio is all about, right? These events are to either if they're a licensed ham already and they want to get on the air, or this is just how it is. I've been to many parks. I saw somebody setting up an antenna and I knew exactly what they were doing. And I went over to them and it was just cool. It's just so cool. I love this hobby. It's the way that we
We were actually
connect.
driving home from there, and we are like, "Hey, there's another guy setting up for ham." We turned around and stopped and talked to a fellow ham as they're like leaving.
Yeah, see, that's just how it is. Now, for me, I didn't see any other ham radio operators around. It was very warm that day. I mean, we've been having the heat index up into the 110s, and I set up underneath a tree because it was cooler there. But
It's
yeah, I
actually
didn't.
pretty cool for us. It only got to like 76, so it was really
Well,
nice.
lucky you. And you said it was like 25 years that you guys that this
Yeah,
club has
this was
been
the
doing this?
25th year that our club has operated at the Niagara Lighthouse. It's a pretty good milestone for the club this year for it to hit the 25 years.
Yeah, I would say so. And you know, a lot of these lighthouses on the air, parks on the air, islands on the air, all these different groups, groupings of let's go out and activate and get portable. They really have been taking off, especially the parks on the air. And that was also a park, right?
Yes, it's Niagara State Park.
See, see, so you got to do a park and a lighthouse. So I'm sure
Yep.
there you made quite a few contacts. Do you know how many contacts in total, roughly, that you made,
We
and
had too
which?
many operators that hasn't been calculated yet, so
Okay, but
we still have to compile all of that.
you were doing single sideband, you were doing
Okay, then.
Morse code on CW
Yep.
and FT8.
FTA.
Which bands were you operating? Do you know?
I was operating on 20 and 15 and 12. Matt was wherever he could fit in where he wasn't interrupting with others. Of course, we had bandpass filters because we're all close to each other. And then our main station was on 40.
Okay, very cool. And Matt's your husband, just for people who don't
Yes,
know.
K2EAG.
So, all right. Well, this was a very exciting weekend, and maybe next year this will spark some people's, fancy, and they want to go out and participate in the weekend, the International Lighthouse and Lightship Weekend. And yes, there are ships. There are light ships. I made contact with one of them. There are very few of them left, but they're basically a lighthouse on a ship that is portable, so that if a lighthouse was going to be too difficult to build in a certain area, they were able to basically anchor a ship there to be the lighthouse as an aids to navigation to, other vessels out there. So very interesting, and you learn a lot. We both we learned a little bit about the lighthouse. I didn't learn so much about mine, but you guys got to go into a fort. It is a
Yeah.
fort over there too. This is a multifaceted state park.
The state park, it's a lighthouse, it's a fort.
Right, exactly. So forts on the air.
But it was also their living history weekend, so we had people in costume acting out the parts of being in the fort. So it was really kind of cool.
It looks like you had a very eventful weekend. I just happened to drive over to the lighthouse and enjoy myself. Well, it looks like we both had a pretty eventful weekend as far as radio is concerned, and I'm glad we can make contact, Angela. It's always a pleasure to have you there and be so helpful for this YouTube channel. And thanks for sharing your club's participation, 25th year at this lighthouse. and Fort Niagara Lighthouse, correct?
Yes.
And, I hope everybody has a great day in 73.
Quack, 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 quack.